Since 2009, Shark Tank has been giving entrepreneurs the chance to get their products in front of some of the savviest and toughest investors in the world. They include businessman Kevin O'Leary, investor and columnist Barbara Corcoran, businessman and motivational speaker Daymond John, and theater chain and sports team owner Mark Cuban. As you might expect, they've invested in some ideas over the years that have gone on to make their inventors and the sharks a truckload of money. Here are the 10 most successful. Lonnie Lazzari was only 18 when she made her debut on the show in 2013, but she had already been honing her craft for almost 5 years. She began developing her Simple Sugars facial scrubs with no harsh chemicals or artificial ingredients when she was only 11, and by 13 she turned it into an online business. She had already grossed $50,000 in sales when she threw her Simple Sugars into the Shark Tank and received a big bite from investor Mark Cuban. He gave the small business a shot in the arm to the tune of $100,000 in exchange for 33% equity in the company. Lonnie would need the cash to help her expand quickly, as sales of her products nearly quadrupled the first day after her appearance on the show. Her concept for all-natural facial scrubs has since grown from a small online operation to a national retail presence with over 500 locations, doing $3 million in yearly revenue. She's also greatly expanded her product line and partnered with retailer Destination Maternity to produce a line of products for expectant moms. Inventor Rick Hopper took a dramatic spill in front of the judges while making his entrance in Season 3, but it was all part of his plan. He was demonstrating how his product, which he called the Ready Rest, could securely fasten the wearer's eyeglasses or sunglasses to any part of their body without the risk of damage. The demonstration worked perfectly, and he pitched the Ready Rest as inexpensive and easy to market. Investor Lori Greiner, known as the Queen of QVC, agreed. She thought that the product would resonate with viewers of her home shopping network, and even went so far as to say that she was uniquely positioned to make Hopper a millionaire. For a whopping 65% of the company, she agreed to invest $150,000 and to feature the product on QVC. Her prediction turned out to be right, as the Ready Rest sells like hotcakes on the network to this day. Since Hopper's appearance on the show in 2012, his company has posted sales totaling over $8 million. Not only did Greiner make good on her promise to make Hopper $1 million several times over, it's safe to say that being two-thirds owner of a profitable company that sells its products on her network has probably worked out pretty well for her also. Children's products have traditionally not fared very well in the show, but one notable exception is the Lollicup, invented by the husband and wife team of Mark and Hannah Lim. Inspired by their 9-month-old daughter, it was designed to be an improvement on a regular sippy cup for toddlers, with a spill-proof design and a straw that's designed to capture every single drop. The product was also intended to be easy for any child to use and was BPA-free. Mark Cuban and Canadian investor Robert Herjavec bid on the idea, offering $100,000 in exchange for 40% equity. Before their appearance on the show, the small business had been struggling, with fewer than 50 accounts, but that has since grown to over 650, including giant retail chain Walmart. The Lollicup has racked up over $1 million in sales, making it by far the most successful children's product to be featured on the show. The Lims have had 2 more children since their appearance, and apparently they're still looking to their little ones for inspiration. Their company introduced a fun and functional glass baby bottle in 2015. Mother and daughter duo Danielle Villaggi and Tracy Noonan hit the show on Season 4 with an interesting culinary creation, gourmet cupcakes in a jar that are shipped to their customers, calling them Wicked Good Cupcakes. They had gotten the idea as an interesting way to take their local bakery nationwide. They knew the presentation was going their way when every one of the judges barely managed to get muffled compliments out of their mouth while scarfing the sample cupcakes they were given. While they were offering 20% of their company in exchange for $75,000, investor Kevin O'Leary had a different idea. He agreed to provide the cash in exchange for a royalty arrangement instead. He would receive $1 per cupcake until he broke even on his investment, and then 50 cents per cupcake thereafter. It turned out to be a great arrangement all around, as sales of Wicked Good Cupcakes have grown to almost $5 million annually since their Shark Tank appearance. It doesn't take a lot of math to figure out that O'Leary has made an absolute killing from his initial $75,000 investment, and Danielle and Tracy have gone from a small struggling operation to a multi-million-dollar brand. Travis Perry was a music teacher who had a stroke of inspiration as he was trying to teach his young daughter to play the guitar. He created a device that attaches to a guitar's neck and has colored tabs that help beginners learn the right finger placement for chords, always the most difficult part for any guitar student to get the hang of. The youngster learned how to play so quickly that Perry knew he could make a ton of money if he could just get it in front of the right people. Of course, that led him to Shark Tank. Impressed by his story and the $150,000 in sales he had achieved so far, Robert Herjavec made a deal to put up a hefty $175,000 in exchange for 20% equity in the company. Perry was able to help his cause significantly by securing John Rich of the country music duo Big and Rich as a spokesperson for the product, and that, combined with his TV appearance and influx of investor cash, was more than enough to set the company up for success. Chord Buddy's annual sales are now topping $2 million. In Season 5, 1031 Productions owner Melissa Carbone also found herself in front of a shark who was in a unique position to help her company succeed. The company holds live-action, horror-themed Halloween events that make your standard haunted house look like a soothing daydream by comparison. At the time of her appearance on the show, Melissa was confined by her company's budget to only operating in her home state of California. But with his deep pockets and multiple holdings in live entertainment, Mark Cuban turned that situation around in a hurry. Cuban gave Melissa the richest offer ever extended on Shark Tank to that time, an eye-popping $2 million for 20% of the company. Of course, he was also able to secure her a ticket distribution contract with Live Nation, virtually guaranteeing that his investment would see a healthy return. The TV appearance has helped 1031 Productions to over 400,000 paying customers, and their projected revenue grew to $3 million in 2014 and $5 million in 2015. The gigantic investment appears to slowly but surely be paying off. Season 5 saw more than one huge payday. Inventor Charles Yim secured $650,000 in funding to market his breathometer, a portable breathalyzer that featured a plug that enabled it to connect to any smartphone. It's easy to see the potential for saving lives and property, and no fewer than 5 of Shark Tank's investors decided to jump on the opportunity. Cuban, John, Greiner, O'Leary, and Herjavec all went in on funding for a 30% share of the company. Yim has made a number of smart business moves since his appearance on the show. He managed to secure an additional $2 million in funding from other sources, and partnered with the Cleveland Clinic and the design firm behind the Fitbit Force to help him nail down the right design for the life-saving product. His latest designs are Bluetooth-enabled and more accurate than the version shown on Shark Tank, and also feature a built-in app to help users call an Uber or a cab for a safe ride home. The company's sales grew to $10 million by 2014, the last year for which sales figures are available, and were projected to double to $20 million by 2015. Makers of the finest ugly Christmas sweaters around, Tipsy Elves was founded in 2011 by Evan Mendelsohn and Rick Morton. The online enterprise was doing fairly well by the time the duo brought their product to the Shark Tank in December of 2015. Their online enterprise alone had brought in close to $1 million in only 2 years, and that figure was enough for Herjavec to want a piece of the ugly pie. He invested $100,000 to help the company move into the retail market. O'Leary also made an offer, but his was royalty-based, while Herjavec was willing to take a small 10% interest in the company. Sales immediately took off after their appearance, and the company was also helped by a feature appearance on the 2015 comedy film The Night Before, starring Seth Rogen, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Anthony Mackie. The Christmas-themed movie's producers made a deal with the company to license a mass production of an ugly sweater worn by Rogen in the film. Tipsy Elves was projected to make $2 million from the exposure, according to TMZ, and ended up making $390,000 off the deal on the opening weekend alone. Herjavec would later disclose that the deal was the most successful he had ever made during his time on the show. The company made $7 million in 2014 and was projected to double that the next year. Another husband and wife team struck gold with an idea for a web-based photo service in Season 3. Brian and Julie Whiteman came up with Groovebook, a service that lets users curate up to 100 photos per month from their smartphone, which are collected into a bound physical photo book and mailed to them monthly. The photos are high-resolution, glossy prints, perforated for easy removal and standard size for framing. The innovative idea was pounced on by Cuban and O'Leary, who provided $150,000 in capital for 80% of the licensing profits. The service gained 50,000 subscribers after the broadcast, and would have been a wise investment even if that had been the end of the story. But in November 2014, Groovebook was purchased by web-based photo giant Shutterfly for an amazing $14.5 million, with the Whitemans entitled to an earnout based on future performance. This makes Groovebook the first company featured on Shark Tank to be purchased by a public company, and the app has now been downloaded well over 1 million times. When Aaron Krause stepped into the tank in Season 4 to pitch the Scrub Daddy, he did it with style. His presentation reminded the investors of the classical infomercial pitchman, and his product was as ingenious as it was simple. A smiley-shaped, lemon-scented sponge that is much more durable and hygienic than the average sponge. Also, it softens up in warm water and toughens up in cold water, making it the perfect sponge for any application. While Krause had struggled to reach the $100,000 mark in sales, he also found his perfect match in QVC queen Lori Greiner. She instantly saw the potential for her network and made a deal to fund the venture to the tune of $200,000 in exchange for a 20% stake. To say that it paid off would be the understatement of the century. In addition to becoming a staple on QVC, Scrub Daddy can now be found in major retailers like Bed Bath & Beyond and Walmart, and Krause has moved an astounding 10 million units since he first made his pitch. Thanks to Shark Tank, the mighty little sponge has gone from a struggling businessman's uphill battle to a nationwide favorite household product that has raked in over $50 million.